pretty typical of a divisional game against two opponents that, pretty evenly matched, and a tough game. And there were some frustrating parts of it, and I thought our guys did a good job of keeping the frustration down and continuing to play through some tough calls, tough no calls. There's a little bit of that. There's the frustration of missing some shots that we normally make throughout the game. But the run at the end was pretty special. The last minute was frantic. A lot going on there. Both teams made some pretty incredible plays. And happy for our guys. Just they hung in. Our crowd was terrific. It was a kind of game. There were not a lot of big runs to get the crowd going until the end, and they really came through for us. I thought the crowd really made it difficult for them, particularly in the last minute.
You guys couldn't hit 30 in any quarter until that fourth. The offense, of course, scored a lot down the stretch. What did you see your team change or you guys summon in those last 7 minutes when you were down 14 to come back?
Well, we stayed aggressive. We finally got the ball in the basket. Pascal had a frustrating night. There's a lot of when you're the kind of high level player that he is. I mean, there's contact on virtually every play. There's contact. Sometimes there's collisions. I mean, it's just how the game's played. And so there were some frustrating stretches for him. But we kept talking to him about just, try to move on to the next play, limit distractions. We all got to keep our head down and keep playing and give ourselves a chance. And that's exactly what our guys did. And he led the charge in the last 5 minutes, just with putting his will on the game. And by doing that, I thought our collective will was terrific. And we had a lot of guys play well. I thought Mathurin played great. He didn't have a great shooting night, but he made timely shots, and I thought he played really a terrific floor game defensively. He was busting over screens, physical, and starting him in the second half I thought was the right thing, along with Huff, and to get more physical size and a little more experience in the game.
When you have a game like this where, twos aren't falling on shots you guys normally make around the basket, what does it take to, one, find better looks, and two, overcome that frustration? You just described how Pascal did it.
Well, the number one formula is stops. And then in the first and third, they were hard to come by. Starting small as we did, we had some great shots early that didn't go down. And the game got going a little bit like this, up and down, and their shots were going. And their first two baskets were on putbacks where we didn't block out, and so that's on us. But that put us in a hole right off the bat, and we were fighting back. We were down 10 early in the first, and it was a fight back situation the entire game. So got to give our guys a lot of credit for hanging in.
I guess to keep going on that, I think they scored 7 points in the last 6 minutes. Or just what stood out to you just defensively? Where do you guys feel like you were able to tighten up on that end?
Well, the combination of getting the ball in the basket and getting the next stop, that starts the crowd going. And then we got some momentum back and forth. And it was it snowballed. I thought that was it. I just watched the last minute again. I'm sitting right behind Vooch watching his shot go up, and it's clearly wide left, and I'm thinking that's off, and the thing banks in. It's one of those nights. You got to withstand all that stuff coming at you, and still find a way to get the next stop, get the ball in the basket. I thought one of the most impressive possessions of the year was he hits that shot, and then we come back down and just start driving and kicking, and Aaron just wills the ball in on a layup to get us back up one. And then, what more can you say about Furphy's defense in the fourth quarter? The guy was terrific, and I don't know if he scored until the last two free throws, But that kind of play, that kind of effort, makes a huge difference.
You mentioned Aaron, his drive also hit the block on White on the rotate over to get there on that shot. What stood out, just what he did on those two possessions? Like you said, willing the ball in, but also coming back and having a big time defensive effort, helping out on Furphy on that drive there.
Yeah, he's one of our veteran leaders. He's a guy that, really based on all of his experiences, first couple of years he was on a very good team in Boston, went to the finals, and so he's seen basketball at that level. He knows what it takes from a team standpoint and the kind of spirit you have to have, to be a part of something like that. And that's one of the things that he's brought here, and it showed tonight. And again, I mean. He's 5 for 9, 3 for 5. He had a pretty good shooting night, but it wasn't like this spectacular blowout scoring night. He just kept working and doing the little things. And Mathurin did the same thing. So those two wings played very, very well. And then you got Furphy and Walk, and I thought both those guys played well too.
I think it was 103-91 with like 7:18 left, something along those lines. I think you guys gave up 7 points in the last 6 minutes. I mean, just what allowed you guys just to bear down the way you did? What did you do better, especially on the defensive end in that last 6 minutes?
In general, I think we played pretty solid defense throughout the whole night. Not sure what the splits were, but 20-point second quarter. Like we had times where we were playing good defense, kind of missed shots at times. And those stops at the end of the game allowed us to get buckets on the other side of the floor, make it a little bit easier for us.
What does it continue to say about this team, just considering what it's been through, that you guys can summon moments like this, when you're down 14, to still come back and play at your highest level?
I think we're damn near known for that. So we have it in us. We have the experience of coming back in games and feeling that just understanding what it takes in those moments.
What allowed Pascal just to get going in the last fourth quarter? I think he only had 7 going into it. Just what allowed you guys to put him in positions to get going there?
I mean, I think we got him some early touches in transition that allowed him to kind of play against a disadvantaged group, and then got him going. And then he's a guy you can rely on to hit shots down the stretch in any position, really. But just some easy looks allowed him to get that feel in the fourth.
Just how did momentum start to play into this? I mean, I think Rick just said, like, one shot after another, you got the crowd going into it. I mean, did you guys feel that, I guess, in the moment, that every positive, outcome was leading to another one?
I mean, I feel like that's what we've been doing. I mean, that's what we're known for, and it's like in those moments, the team that's been up the whole game usually kind of gets tight, and there's not really nothing to lose at that point. So definitely felt the crowd energy around us, and they've always been a big help for us in the seasons I've been here.
Sorry, you hit the pull-up jumper in the lane, I think, to go up to him. Just what are you seeing on that play, basically? What are you looking for? Just what worked out for you on that play?
Yeah, we ran a blur out. Didn't really get the edge on him, so kind of put my back to the basket. Just wanted to get to a shot in the middle of the paint that I felt comfortable with, where regardless of the contest, I felt I was on balance. So, yeah, I haven't even watched the film, so I might have not been on balance. But it felt
right. AA comes up with a couple of huge plays there with the reverse to get you back up after the Vooch 3, and then the block on White there. How huge were those two moments? Obviously, you come to expect stuff like that from AA, but how huge are those in those?
Super big. He's always got a great energy about him, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and just stayed aggressive in that opening big shot for sure.
You talked a little bit earlier there about just being known for situations like this. Where, I think you and AA and I think Pascal, I think you guys had like 24 of the 37 in the fourth quarter. I mean, just how much can you three guys, considering what all you've experienced with this team, kind of summon that in those moments, the experiences? I mean, how much do those help in those situations?
Yeah, like I said, the experience always makes you feel a little more comfortable, confident in those moments, and yeah.
I think the game was just one of those games like it's tough. I thought our defense was decent for some quarters, but we just didn't really get a rhythm offensively. Like the pace wasn't there. Missed some shots, missed some layups. So I mean, I just thought we kept playing like no matter what, and I think we knew that at least eventually we'll get some easy ones, and I think that fourth quarter was just a perfect opportunity for us. Got some stops when it mattered, and then we got some buckets when it mattered also.
Drew's assist numbers since New Year's are really high. He had 9 tonight, a lot of them to you. How have you seen him improve or evolve as a passer in the last couple weeks, months, et cetera?
Yeah, no, I love it. I think obviously like it's a growing opportunity for him, like being a different role. Like he's in a different role. I think he's finding his rhythm in terms of like being aggressive and also just getting guys involved and making plays. I mean, some of the passes, like he just understands it and knows when to get me in some touches. Like he's really like taking another step in terms of just like managing the game, and it shows with his assist numbers.
The fourth time this year you've started without a center. You're kind of playing 4 and 5. I know we've asked you about it before. How much more comfortable do you feel in those alignments? What are some of the pros and cons you felt now that you've done it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously, you got to box out some of those big guys. But I think, for us, it helps with the pace. I mean, I can guard those guys also. So I think it just gives us a different look. Obviously, we have some 5s and, they give us a different look. But I actually like it, being out there. Guarding the 5s, trying to trying to post me up, do all those different things. So it's a different look, but I actually like it. I don't mind it, and it gives me a different like vibe also offensively, and I think also for a team it just gives us a different kind of pace, which is a different look. I don't mind. I don't think it's bad for just having different looks out there.
What got better for you offensively, personally, in the fourth quarter? I mean, it seemed like you obviously scored a lot more, but it seemed like you guys were getting you in some better positions to get downhill a little bit. What all did you guys kind of tweak to get you some more opportunities?
Definitely a tough day. It didn't particularly start good with me. Real Madrid lost, ugly game. It's just it was just one of those days. I felt it coming into the game. It didn't get nothing. No fouls, no missing everything, So it's just one of those games. I think, like for me, it's an opportunity to grow, and I just look at it as like like you see the whole game, you're not really getting anything going. Are you gonna just let it go, or are you gonna keep fighting to get positions? And I think I give credit to Drew for just finding me in some of those opportunities, early transitions, like getting some easy ones, like getting to the free throw line, different things like that. It kind of helps you get in a little bit of a rhythm, and I'm glad that I caught a rhythm at the right time for us to come back and win the game. But those games are gonna happen when you get so much attention and all these different things. Like you're gonna have games where it's slow. I think in the past, maybe like I'll let some of those things like just kind of like get to me, and but I just love the fact that I just kept going, and no matter what, it's like, hey, you work so hard, and sometimes it's gonna go in, sometimes not, but more times than not, it is gonna go in. So I just have that faith and that belief, no matter what, and yeah, I mean maybe the parlay people will be mad at me, but I don't really care. We got to win.
What Double A obviously comes through with a couple huge plays down the stretch there with the layup and then with the block on the next play. One, just how big was he? But also, you, Drew, Double A, you guys have been a part of a lot of comebacks. You've had, from playoffs the last 2 years. I mean, just how much does it help when the three of you can rely on each other? Yeah,
no, for sure. Like I was talking to Drew at the end of the game. Like just again, we just found a rhythm. Like, and we started getting stops and I think I could just see in the eyes as although some of those guys, like, like we've done this before kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, so it felt like we just stuck with it. We started getting stops. Guys was defending, like the play at the end with Double A, make some open shots, big shots, which we've done, So I think it was great. And I think Double A is coming back, obviously, like, he's getting his rhythm back, but it feels good to have some of those guys back, and knowing that, having that feeling of like we're never out of a game, like that's a good feeling to have.
So you've talked about chasing that feeling. I mean, like how important is it to just maintain that and remember that from last year and carry it over through everything that's going on?
Yeah, no, it's a different look. Obviously, like we understand it. We're in a different place, we're in a different position. But I just feel like, no matter all the adversity that we've been through and everything that's happened, like we just got to keep it going. Like we can't think about a record, we can't think about anything. We just got to keep focusing on like how we can improve and not lose our identity, like who we are. No matter who's out there, like we have an identity, and like that's got to stick. And the great teams, like they always have that, even in the tough years. Like it's not always going to be, sunshine. It's not always going to be great. But as long as, we stay together, we don't lose our identity, we keep working, we keep fighting, which I think we're doing. We're gonna have some good moments happening. I know it's cold out there, but we'll have some sunshine soon.
I was gonna ask, you had to go up against Sticks a lot tonight. He goes for 13.
Yeah, he was fouling, man. He was fouling me, man.
I was gonna ask, what was that like? Just basically.
That was cool. I think I obviously love Stick. Like I think he made some big shots. And it's always good to see some of the guys that you played with before. And he was doing a good job for them. It's good to see him. But yeah, he's just got to call fouls. But it's all right though.